I always emphasize to you guys that you really do need to pick and choose who you're friends with, and that different people are gonna serve different purposes in your life, and that's okay. And guys, don't underestimate the sort of energy you can get from other people. It really, really does spread. So if you're hanging around, and I hate to say it, a bunch of losers, if you're hanging around people who don't really understand what you're trying to do, that dampens your energy. If you're trying to be on one wavelength and someone else is on another, it won't work, guys. And for a long time, I was sort of, I'd say lonely. I would have friends that I joke with, but for a long time there was people that were in my life, but I couldn't really share my vision with. I couldn't talk too openly about my goals and my aspirations, and you end up feeling quite lonely from that, and it's something I had to deal with for quite a while. But look, that's fine. Honestly, I would rather be alone with my own thoughts than with people who are negative, berate what I'm trying to do in my life, because at the end of the day, those people are just scared that you're gonna rise up and find no use from them anymore. Don't get angry at people when they throw negativity, throw hate your way, because at the end of the day, they're just scared that you're gonna develop so much that you find no use for them anymore. I've seen that time and time again in my life, and it's something I've sort of had to move past. So I know there's a lot of you guys watching who, you have friends who don't really understand what you're trying to do. Don't get angry at them, but also you don't need that in your life. Cut that out immediately. Trust me, being lonely for the next couple months, couple years, it's gonna be fine, because there's someone out there who loves what you're trying to do. They love the vision you have, the drive you have, the passion you have. And once you meet that person, I swear the amount of energy you guys will bounce off each other, it's incredible, and it's worth it.
Many of you don't realize you are entering the greatest 5-year window of your life. If you're 20 years old, what you do every day for the next 5 years is going to determine the direction your entire life heads towards. Are you going to live a life of mediocrity like 95% of the planet? Or are you going to rise and fire up all cylinders to live the life you have the potential of living? This is a time where you have so many opportunities in front of you. It's a time before you're married, before you have kids, and have to spend a huge portion of your time and money on them. It's a time before your hopes and dreams have been sucked out of you. You've still got this window of opportunity, the next 5 years. And yet, you don't realize all these huge opportunities dangling right in front of you. Manage your time better. Study harder. And take full advantage of the opportunities you've been given. The studying you're doing right now, it's easy. When you go to class, it's easy. It's easy compared to what you're going to face after you graduate. When you go to class, you have people making sure you turn up. You have people telling you what you need to do. You have people telling you what books to read, what to write, what exams you have, how to study for them. When you graduate and you're out in the real world, you have none of that. So when you start taking control of your own life, when you start pushing yourself without anyone else having to do it for you, that's when you know you'll be okay after you graduate. And so it's time to get to your desk and get to work.
Now, success is this big esoteric thing, and a lot of the time people fixate on the micro rather than looking at the macro. So they'll fixate on this little problem or this little tactic that they need, when really they should be unplugging from the situation and looking at a bigger context as to their life. You want to start, if you have a problem, you want to start with clarity. There's a problem, and what is the outcome? What is the problem that you want to solve? Get complete clarity with that. So in here I write remove things rather than add them. Success is about removing the things that I don't need, not about learning or adding things to my life. So then I go on to say what things are f***ing me up. And this paper is generally just for me, but I'm very, very open. I'm more than happy to share the things that are kind of like f***ing me up right now. So this is like a very cool insight into my head and where my life's at right now. So first on that list is partying and in brackets, sporadic sleep schedule. So when I'm going out to clubs or I'm hanging out with really cool girls, like I might end up in bed at like 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. and that's not very good for me. Like I don't drink, so that helps it, but nonetheless, it completely throws off your sleep schedule and you definitely feel the effects the next day. My phone usage, so I get the loss of deep work and then I also get FOMO, which is fear of missing out. So obviously with social media, like I will be in deep work blocks, then I'll check my phone in between in my breaks and I'll see my friends going out, having fun, doing all this fun and crazy shit, and I get this FOMO. Also part of that is I've just got people hitting me up, like trying to fill up my calendar, and trust me, you want to keep your calendar as empty as possible to get real work done. So checking my phone gives me more reason to say yes to these people. If they're my friends, to say yes and meet up. If they're acquaintances or other people or business people, to send them my scheduler so they can book an appointment or a meeting with me. The less I do that, the better. Then I break it down to 2 things which I think are having like the biggest detrimental effect on my momentum and where I'm at right now. And those 2 come out to my phone usage. So really distracting me from that deep work, having that distraction of people trying to pull me away from my work, and then finally the fear of missing out. That, and then below that, I'd say the partying, sporadic sleep schedule. So then I asked myself, what is the one big domino? Tim Ferriss uses this a lot. If I solve this one problem, the other one will just eradicate anyways. So kind of where I went with that was, if I lower my phone usage, then I'm gonna get less fear of missing out. And less fear of missing out is gonna lead to less clubbing, less partying, less seeing people at times that don't really work with my schedule or stop my momentum. But then on the flip side, the less phone usage I have, the increased deep work I have, which means if I get more deep work, more better work done, that actually leaves more time to party, more time to see some of the girls that I'm seeing, more time to see old friends. So for me, that is like the one big domino that kind of has a cascading effect on all the rest of the stuff. So if we flip over to the next page, you got the action steps, because if you don't apply this straight away, if you don't make a change, or even just a small little something right now, then it's never gonna happen. So action steps, I asked myself, when does phone usage occur most? And the answer is whenever the phone is visible, whenever the phone's on the desk, whenever it's around me, I'm inclined to use it. It's like trying to go on a diet, but stuffing your cabinet with like junk food. You're not really doing yourself a favor there. The next question I ask myself is, when is it pivotal that I don't use my phone? And I answer with, before I finish my morning routine. So that's pretty much like the first 45 minutes of my day. It's pivotal that I do not use my phone. I do not get my brain in that zone where I'm looking at, how's the business doing? Did this girl text back? Did my friend hit me back? What's my Instagram looking like? What's my email looking like? How are sales doing? Like all of this stuff is just something I don't need first thing in the morning. But if you don't have discipline, if you're not willing to sacrifice for it, if you're not willing to put in hard work, none of that matters. I can give you as many tactics as you want. My coaches, my mentors can give me as many tactics as they want. But unless I put in good systems and infrastructure, it really won't mean shit.
Be the person that's putting in the work, that's putting in the hours, that's putting in the study time. While everyone else is playing the short-term game, dreaming and hoping that everything will work out in the end, you're going to be studying. When you're in your early 20s, this is the time you need to work. This is the time you need to get your head down and study. While you don't have all the baggage that you're going to have in your late 20s and 30s, right now is the time where you can grind at your full potential. It's harder for the 30 and 40-year-olds that have had to go back to university because they wasted their education when they were younger. It's harder to be studying full-time when you have a family that you need to feed. So if you're lucky enough to be going through your education with no baggage, with no kids, with no financial responsibilities, with nothing dragging you down, then take full advantage of it. The next time you need to study and you catch yourself questioning whether to procrastinate a little more or to actually go and study, please recognize how lucky you are to be in that situation. Please recognize how many millions of people would love to be in your shoes right now. Because the sooner you realize how lucky you are, the sooner you're grateful for your education and the opportunities it is giving you, rather than seeing it as a burden on your life. The more you will, then take advantage of it. The more you'll be motivated. The more you'll be inspired. The harder you will study. the happier you'll become, the greater you'll become.